We are concerned because the fact is that we look at a 101% debt to GDP ratio. If you use just the government numbers, it is totally unsustainable. We can't exist like that. When you look at what Japan is doing for the last 15 years, they have 200% debt to GDP. China has 250% debt to GDP. And we have politicians in this country that are saying they're doing fine. Fine? They've had nothing but stagnation. They've had no prosperity in their country. They have people with the same standard of living that they had 15 years ago, and China's even worse. That's Japan. And not to mention, they live in an economy where prosperity of their people have little or no effect to their economic growth. They are export nations. Prosperity of the American people is everything to the prosperity of our GDP and the American way of life. We don't live in an export nation. We live in a nation that is driven by consumer spending. We don't live in a nation that is driven by exports. See, prosperity of the American family and prosperity of the middle class is critically important to the growth of this nation. And if we are seeing wages deteriorate, we continue to see this deflation in wages. When we look at that, we're in an unsustainable situation. We are headed for more government interference, more government control, more social control by this government. We are not going to export our way out of this problem. The only way we get out of this problem is to spend our way out, and I'm talking about consumers, not the government. But the government continues to spend more and more to try to incentivize consumers to spend more and more, and guess what? It ain't working. It hasn't worked. But as you know, the definition of insanity is continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. And we've got a government that continues to do the same thing, a Federal Reserve that continues to do the same thing over and over again. They've never gotten a different result. Therefore, when you look from the very first State of the Union speech of this administration all the way to the last State of the Union speech of this administration, and you look at every State of the Union speech, all of those things have gone. Debt has gone up. GDP has been stagnant. The debt ratio to GDP has continued to go up. And the labor participation rate has continued to go down, and wages have continued to go down. And this is an economy that we have a president and an administration that is boasting about.